Hey there, it's Anthony Butler, and in this video, I'm going to tell you why I think nearly every veteran should start their own business. And I'm going to give you some resources to take a look at the differences between product and service businesses, and then to do a self-evaluation and help you find the right opportunity to get started if that's what you want to do. If you've looked at the data, it's clear veterans are 45% more likely to start a business than any other group. And then when you dig down into it, you realize that veteran owned businesses do better long term, they're more profitable, and there's some good reasons for that. The military helps you develop some of the right character traits that then translate into a good business. Okay, so what are those character traits? That I think the first one is the one that everyone is thinks is the most obvious, and it's discipline. Is that as a military member, you learn the value of discipline, attention to detail, and you learn how to grind. You learn how to work really, really hard on boring things day after day after day, even under very adverse conditions. And that's a lot of what goes on in a business. The second trait I think a lot of veterans pick up on is some good leadership skills and leadership training. And as you know, servant leadership is all of the rage in the military for good reason. And it translates very well into businesses. And I've been practicing servant leadership for more than 20 years in all of my businesses. And it's the model that can help you be successful. Okay, so there's two really good reasons. And the third one, and this last trait I think is underestimated. And it's just the ability to perform in adverse circumstances. So if you've ever been deployed, you've gone overseas, maybe you've been in a war zone, guess what? Business is not that hard. It's not. And on your worst day, maybe you're stuck in an airport and the bar is closed. But there's more stress than that. But you get my point, is that you've done hard things, and the stress that comes with a business is nowhere near the stress that you got while you were deployed or while you were in a war zone. So three really very important character traits that you've developed. The next part is you need to start to think about what skills will translate. Okay. Now, why does it matter? Why do I think veterans should start a business? And that's what I was talking about. So you've got the character traits, but why do it? For me, I got out about 20 years ago, and I had some really good bosses. I had some terrible bosses while I was still working. But one of the things that happened to me was, as soon as I got out, my wife was pregnant and we bought a new house. So I started a new job. And I immediately figured out I wasn't making enough money. And I had this choice, since I just started a new job and a new career, was, do I suddenly go out and try to find another job that makes more money, or do I try to make more money on the side? And I went the on the side, the side hustle kind of thing. And what I did was started I started some small side hustles, just trying to earn money, make ends meet. And that first side hustle turned into a second one, which turned into a third one. And, some perform better than others. And in the last 20 years, I've started a number of different businesses, consulted at hundreds of businesses. And I worked at a startup that went from zero to, nine figures. And in all of that, one of the things I realized was I'm not really money motivated. And when I wasn't making enough money, obviously I was focused on money, but that's not what motivated me. It didn't make me happy. It didn't make me fulfilled. When I started going after businesses that I cared about, that was serving people, it started to replace kind of that loss of feeling of service that I had while I was in, and for me, that was a big mental health issue. And when I was chasing money, I wasn't nearly as happy as when I was serving and when I was focused on service. Is that's one of the main reasons I think a lot of veterans will do well in a business, is because that you can replace the sense of service with a business. Okay. So the second one, and I think it's important to understand how it works, is that when you run your own business, you take back control of your life. You take control of your time, you take control of your focus. You never have to work for a bad boss again. You can be the boss that you wish you always had. And I think that cannot be minimized. It's really important. And with that, with that control, it comes a sense of freedom. You need to take an afternoon off to take the kids somewhere. You want to go on a vacation. You want to take a few hours off to go to a kid's basketball game or go on date night with your wife. You can do those things. You don't have to worry that you got to please someone else. Okay. Now, as a business owner, you're always going to have clients. You're going to have customers that you need to take care of, and you have to answer to them. But it just gets to be a whole lot better when you are actually the owner and the shareholder and you're running the business, you know. And the third and maybe the most important reason is that when you work for the government, you have an exact amount of money that you're going to earn every month, and it's mandated by law most of the time. There's some sort of chart. You look in there and you see how much money you're going to make. At the end of a year, maybe you get a 3% raise, maybe you get promoted, you get a 10% raise, something like that. In the civilian world, there is no cap to how much you can earn. And I mean, this is something that I think is really important to think about is how much money can you earn running your own business? And it can be a huge, huge amount of money. And if you look at like Fortune 1000 CEOs, some of them are making millions and millions and millions of dollars a year, just base salary and then stock options and all the rest of it. As a business owner, and let's say you start a small business and you're the lone shareholder, you can make an enormous amount of money. Can you make six figures? Absolutely. Can you make seven figures? Absolutely. Can you make 10 figures? Yes, you can. And if you look, there are people out there who are billionaires that are self-made, that have started a small business, made it into a big business, and taken it public and made millions and even billions of dollars. Okay, there's no cap. You can earn any amount of money. And with money comes freedom, comes control, comes the ability to choose your destiny. Okay, money is not the root of all evil. That's the love of money. I'm not saying love money. I'm saying use money as a tool and recognize that a small business is the tool that will help you buy back all of your time freedom and the freedom to choose what you want to do. Okay, so 3 great reasons. And let's take it even farther, is you are training the next generation of the workforce. Okay, and one of the ways I look at it, and running the Veterans Academy, doing some of the marketing courses that I do, is that I'm training entrepreneurs. I'm giving back to the country. Like the next generation of businesses are going to be ran by a lot of people that maybe they've seen my stuff, they've read my book, maybe they've gone through one of my courses or academy, and that just helps those businesses grow. It helps create jobs. It helps lift up the entire economy. And that's another reason why we need veterans in the workforce, is that by having more veterans in the workforce, we're then spreading leadership. We're teaching leadership. We're bringing leadership into the American economy. It's a good thing. There's no downside whatsoever. So don't underestimate those benefits. Is it hard? Are you worried? You hear, 70, 80% of every business that out there, they go out of business in the first year. Or after 2 years, they go out of business. After 3 years, they go out of business. That's true. But when you start to look at the companies that started and then went out of business, what you realize is a lot of them weren't serious and they weren't diligent and they didn't do some of the basic things that you're going to do because you're going to spend the time to learn what makes a successful business. Okay. And if you learn and you study and you work at it, you can make it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Someone else can do it, you can do it too. Okay. So I put together some resources. I've got some worksheets for you. I bundled it up into a mini course. It's called the Entrepreneur's Blueprint. And if you're thinking about starting a business, but you're not quite sure what to do, you're not sure if you want to go after a product or a service or maybe online business or an offline business, I include a lot of in-depth analysis and thinking about the kinds of businesses you can get started. And one of the things I do is I included a self-evaluation for you just to think deeply about what skills and interests you have and how those might equal a business. Okay, so go through the course. I encourage you, click the link below, download the course, get access to it, fill out the worksheets, do the work. You can finish the entire thing in probably 4 or 5 hours if you really, really put your mind to it. And what at the end of that, what you'll have is a framework of the kind of business that you want to start. And then if you want to learn more, you can join the Entrepreneurs Alliance. It's part of the Veterans Academy, and we can help you figure out, okay, how you're going to test your business ideas, how to scale, how to get your first clients, and how to get your business off the ground. Okay, so again, my name is Anthony Butler, and I hope you enjoy the Entrepreneur's Blueprint.